Section 1 of The Vegetable Garden. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Michael Packard. The Vegetable Garden by Ida Dandridge Bennett. Chapter 1. The Sanitary and Economic Value of the Kitchen Garden. Recent legislation has focused public attention, in no small degree, upon the subject of pure food. Just what goes into the composition of the food we eat is becoming more and more a matter of inquiry by the consumer. It is doubtful, however, if the law requiring the constituents of tinned goods and sealed packages to be printed on the outside of the packages meets the full requirements of the case. It is probable that quite as much adulterated food is sold as at any time previous to the passage of the law. Many manufacturers rely upon the proneness of people to accept a thing as a fact without the trouble of personal investigation. Few people, it may be supposed, take the trouble to read the labels on the goods they buy, at least not until they are delivered at the house, and it is doubtful if the few who do take the precaution are much wiser for their pains. The botanical and scientific names of the various adulterants convey little or no meaning to the average consumer. Still, anything in tin that has come through the government inspections, and the wide publicity given the unsavory details by the press of the country, is looked upon with a certain amount of suspicion by the general public. The result of this suspicion has been to increase, in no small degree, the consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables by all classes. One naturally has confidence in anything which comes to her in its original form. It does not seem possible for anything to be other than it seems, and of this class of products the most inexperienced housewife feels confident to judge. If a cabbage is clean and bright, the outer leaves green and fresh, the inside fresh and crisp, what more could one ask? Well, to the initiated, there does sometimes arise a question as to how all this immaculate crispness and freedom from the trail of the worm was attained. Even after a few years' experience in the growing of cabbages and allied plants, one comes to know that their growing, on any large scale, especially on old land, is not the simple or always the cleanly thing it seems. It is safe to assume that the average farmer and market gardener who raises cabbages for market is fairly conscientious in his methods, but this is not true at all, and it is not an unknown thing to hear of isolated cases where Paris green has been used freely after the heads are set on both cabbage and cauliflowers. The use of Paris green on potatoes is an established practice, unavoidably so on plantings of any extent. All the products of the vine, cucumbers, squash, and melons, are subject to more or less doping at the hands of the professional. And currants, gooseberries, and grapes do not always escape their share of the death-dealing chemicals. Now there is little doubt that much of the applications used are, when applied early in the growth of the plant, ere yet it has set its fruit or formed a head, is harmless. But after a plant has made advanced growth, it is certainly the part of wisdom to keep it as near harmless to the human digestive tract as possible. Anyone who has watched the action of the various insecticides, which may plant poisons that kill the plants on which they are sprayed by entering into the circulation and destroying root and all, cannot but wonder how far the usual insecticides, especially the arsenates, may go in the circulation of the plants to which they are applied. There are certain plant poisons, herbicides, on the market which it is claimed will kill out scrub oak, burdock, Canada thistle, and like persistent perennial growths. Whether it does it or not, the fact remains that plants have the power of absorbing and carrying through the sap circulation, to a limited degree, foreign matter applied upon the surface. It is considerations like this which make the growing of one's own kitchen vegetables so desirable. For though it may be practically necessary for the large grower to employ the aid of various poisons in order to produce a crop of any or many specific vegetables, on the restricted area of the home garden, in many cases, it is neither necessary nor desirable. There is another point that has weight with the careful housewife, that of perfect cleanliness.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?